Forbes India 30 Under 30, presented by Vivo.
Talking today to one of India's brightest young batting talents, Shubman Gill, who has really emerged in the last few years as a player to be reckoned with. Shubman, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I must say that Shubman is used to achieving things at a young age. He was, in fact, on the cover of Forbes last year on the same list, 30 under 30, and he was, in fact, the youngest of those who were chosen on that list. So, Shubman, you are used to achieving things quite early in your life. At a young age, you're already achieving some remarkable things.
And then thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be on the Forbes 30 and the 30. While growing up, Forbes is one of those magazines and one of those forces that you always reckon with and you always know. So it was a pleasure to be on Forbes.
Let me ask you. I think since we started about talking about being young and just starting out in your cricket journey, so to speak. I mean, I know you've been playing cricket all your life, literally, but just now handling the fame of being someone who's who's an India international cricketer. How has that been? The fact that now you've taken that step up and are now among really the most elite cricketers in the country.
I think it really adds more to the responsibility of you as a player and what you want to do with, like what I want to do with Shubman the cricketer. And now with me being, among the other international players, it's just more opportunity to me express more as a player and as a cricketer. And I feel it adds more, like I said, it adds more responsibility to me and how I want to express me as a player in this lovely game that we all know as cricket.
Yes, in fact, I will talk to you about your cricket because you are, like I said, one of the most impressive and talented young players in the country. But I must ask you, with fame and these days, especially with social media around and all of that, there comes a lot of scrutiny and, in many ways, a lot of pressure. What's that been like for you to handle, Shubman?
I mean, at first, like you said, social media is a big influence, and it's both a blessing and a curse. And it's just about how you keep it, how you want to keep it balanced, because we have all seen the power of social media, and it's really important for all the people who are just getting into the international cricket and they just getting there, and to be able to handle both the trolling and both the praise that you get on social media or anywhere. It's really important. And I think when it when it really when you really start getting there, and the first phase of it, you really get overwhelmed with both the good things and the bad things about social media. But as you go through that, or as you get over it, it really, you tend to learn that you have to ignore the people who are really behind your back, and you just have to focus on what you have to do rather than focusing on the good things or the bad things. You just have to focus what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Must say, Shubman, clearly, just being around international cricket for a little while, you've become already more mature than a 22-year-old usually is. You're sounding like a veteran almost, of someone who understands all the things that happen around the game these days. I must ask you though, you started out playing cricket very young. I think the story goes you were about 3 years old when you started playing cricket. You've had success through age group cricket. You had success at the Under 19 World Cup where you were man of the series. But being an India cricketer, it's a notch above, isn't it? Just above everything else. So how has life changed for Shubman Gill after you became an India cricketer?
Obviously, life does change a bit after you play for India, and I think IPL is kind of that stage in between that under 19, or the Ranji Trophy level and the international level. That is kind of the bridge between that. And I was fortunate enough that I got to play IPL for a year or a couple of years to get to know what really international cricket is, and that really helped me to get to know the players. And I was really fortunate to have somebody like Yuvraj Singh or some of the players who have already, been through all of that, and them sharing their experiences with me. So I was really fortunate in terms of that.
And now that you've been around the Indian team and you've played for India, what is it like, Shubman, to then have this situation because of injury or whatever other reason not being involved? You missed out the series in England because
Yeah.
of an injury. This series against South Africa that was ongoing, not being able to be part of that. Do you sit back and watch it on TV and say, I really, really am really missing being part of this? How do you deal with
Yeah,
that?
obviously it's very, very frustrating, and when you miss out on a important series. Like, series in England was really huge for me, and I was really looking forward for it, and I was actually preparing for it for a long time. And for me to be able to miss that series due to injury, like, injury is one of those things where you can't really do anything about it. You just have to, like, take it in, and you just have to go through the process of trying to get fit again. And then I made a comeback in the IPL, and IPL, the second half of the IPL was great for me and for the team. We, like, nobody expected us to play the finals, and we played the finals. Unfortunately, we lost the finals. And then to be able to get injured again in the New Zealand series, and then to be able to miss this South Africa series, it's really frustrating, but it's something that you can't do anything about. You just have to go through it. You just have to like go through this. And yeah, it's actually very annoying and very frustrating, but it's one of those things where you can't really do anything about it.
That's true. It's part and parcel of being an international
Yeah.
sports person that you get injured. Shubman, you've played so far international cricket as an opening batter, mostly in Test cricket. There's a lot of players now vying for those two spots as an opener. How do you see this competition among you guys as players? And just to add on to that, would you also consider playing, or would you like to play in the middle order if that is what the team management wants you to do? What would be your preference, open or middle order?
I think my preference would be whatever my team wants me to do. Like you said, there are a lot of openers in the Indian team right now, and I think it's a good, healthy competition. And the good thing is, whosoever gets the opportunity, everybody grabs that opportunity. When I got my opportunity as an opener, I did decently. And then when KL came into the mix in England, he performed so well. And then Mayank came, and Mayank did so well in the New Zealand series. So that's the beauty about it. Whosoever is getting the opportunity, they are so keen and they are so eager for that opportunity. They are just lashing onto that. And what you asked, I wouldn't have any. If my team wants me to bat as an opener, I would obviously be happy to bat as an opener. If they want me to bat in the middle order, like, for me, any opportunity to represent my country, I would not let that go, no matter where I get that opportunity.
Before we finish, Shubman, I do want to ask you about some of the early influences and things of that nature. I mentioned at the start of this interview that you started remarkably young. I think you were 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old when you started actually training, almost, if not professionally, quite seriously. Can you talk a little bit about the influence and the impact that your parents have had and your family has had in where you are right now as an international sports person?
They have had the biggest impact of me where I am right now. Of course, my dad being my primary coach, and the reason why I started playing cricket, or even why I started watching cricket, was because of my dad, because he was so interested and he was so passionate about it. And me as a young kid, you just want somebody to look up to, somebody that you want to copy, actually, because kids love imitating, or they love copying other people. And me, I used to be fascinated, like, what is this thing that my dad always watches? And whenever there used to be any batsman on the screen playing some shot, I am not used to, I at least try to imitate that whenever I got the opportunity. And then just one my dad saw me a couple of times that I'm trying to imitate these shots, and then he started teaching me, and then we started practicing. And then from there on, he realized, okay, there might be something that he would be able to take this forward. And then we started practicing professionally when I was 6 or 7. Like, we were really practicing for 4 5 hours a day. And then from there on, my journey started.
In Australia, you did some amazing things, not in the least what you did at the Gabba, that innings that set up India's run chase and that historic victory. Shubman, can you talk about that innings in some detail? One, when you were entering that run chase, was it clear in your mind that you were actually going for a win? And two, just talk us through that performance, because it is one of the more remarkable performances by an Indian batter at the top of the order recently.
Going into that day, like I honestly, me and Rohit Bhai, when we were walking in the middle, we never thought that we're going to chase this target. We just thought we were just talking, okay, we're gonna play our natural game,
Yes.
and once our team gets off to a good start, then we'll assess the situation, what the situation is, and then we'll take it from there. And then when I uh, started hitting a few boundaries, and then whenever I was batting, I was never thinking of going for the chase or trying to chase the target or anything. It was just me trying to express myself and the game, how I wanted to play that inning. It was the last, like I knew it is the last inning of me in Australia, and I just wanted to play how I play generally, and that was my whole mindset.
I know this is a slightly cliched question, and you probably have been asked this many times, but influences, role models in your life when you were growing up, because you were when you were growing up in cricket and watching cricket around you, there were some of the greatest players of India's cricket history were involved at the top level. So I'm sure many of those influenced you in the way you in
Yes,
your.
yes, yes. The reason, the person who influenced me a lot when I was really young, when I had just started watching or playing cricket, was Sachin Tendulkar. And once I got to know more about cricket, when I was in my teenage, when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, I loved Virat Bhai. He was one of those players who really, like, who was a little different from what I had experienced or what I had seen, and I was really fascinated. I was really curious how he went about things, and he was just somebody that I look up to. So these were the two people that were really big influences in my life.
Yes, let me actually ask you about Virat now that he's made the decision to move on as Test captain. You started your career under him. I want to ask you about how much of an influence he had in also the time that you became an international player. How much did that matter? How much was Virat influential in your growth as a cricketer?
I think he was definitely an influence in my life, or in the growth of me as a player for the India team, because he's someone who really backs the youngsters, and he really backs them to play their natural game, to play their style of game, how they want to play. And he, not just me, he's someone who really shaped the Indian cricket in a way that nobody really could thought that we can achieve this, because the mindset, the attacking mindset, and the mentality of you like I remember his first match as a captain, and we were playing in Australia, chasing around 350 or something, and we almost chased it. Before
Yes.
going into that, when I was a kid, we never, nobody gave India a chance when we were abroad or outside or touring, chasing close to 350 or 380. But with him captaining the Indian team and the way he carried the Indian team, we, no matter where we are, no matter where we are going, we are always competing, and we are always in the race to win, no matter we are playing in England, Australia, South Africa, or wherever. And that's his way of changing the mentality of the Indian cricket, and that's how he wanted the Indian cricket to go.
Yes, and it has been wonderful already. The other change that has happened is that Rahul Dravid is now head coach of the senior team. You, of course, have prior experience of working with Rahul Dravid as coach. He was coach of the team that you were part of that won the Under 19 World Cup a couple of years ago. So, what's that equation like? And what's your view of how Rahul Dravid can be an important integral factor in India's test team going
the
forward?
the equation is great between us, to be honestly, and we have that kind of bond that where he can tell me anything about me, if I'm doing something right or wrong, not just in cricket, but my attitude, or in terms of me mentally, if I'm going through something, is somebody that I can talk to. And he's someone who is in constantly touch with all the players in terms of what he wants from us, and in terms of what we want from him. So I think that equation is great, and hopefully there are more good things in the future for the Indian cricket as long as he's the head coach.
You're just starting out, Shubman. So before I finish, I must ask you this. Is there a target in your mind at the end of these 10, 15 years that you will be an international cricketer, perhaps longer things that you definitely want to achieve as an individual?
I mean, when you start when I started playing cricket, my one of my dreams was to win a World Cup for India, and definitely that will be my top priority. That I me as a player, I want to win a World Cup with India, and if I'm able to do that, then I would definitely be more happier and satisfied after 15 or how many ever years when I retire.
You've already won a World Cup for India, actually.
Oh, for the senior side, it'll be
Yes.
great.
Final question. I know you're only 22 years old, so it's probably a little unfair to ask someone that young. But yeah, if you were to give one piece of advice to young people, whatever career paths they are choosing at your age, 18, 19, 20, that age group, what would you say to them?
I think one of the things that people mistakenly tell me, or they always say that, oh, uh, that I was really talented and I was so natural and this that. But I feel like if they would have known how much of hard work plays into our game, of how much of hard work I did, I think anybody can do anything if they are really willing to put in the work, and if they're really willing to put in the hours. And I think that is the most important, like consistency and hard work is the most important thing for anybody if they want to do anything.
Forbes India 30 Under 30, presented by Vivo.